Okay, welcome back. This tutorial will focus on putting materials on the house to make it look realistic. We left off with I stopped the rendering, but again, we have the landforms there, and we have the house is all in the gray global material at the moment. First thing I want to do real quick is I want to get rid of this extra line work, which I don't need anymore. I just like to keep my drawing looking simple. So I'm going to display all my site layers here, the originals that I copied from, and hide those. So now I just have the house. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my material palette. Whoops, sorry, that's my render settings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyedropper the global material. Sorry, I had to pause there for 1 second. So we eyedroppered the house material, and it highlighted this global material. So what I'm going to do is actually open my select from scene and turn on my 3D geometry. Close that. Now when I right click on this material, I can go up to select by material. It's going to open this and select everything that's on that material. Which is good because now the whole house is selected. I can actually isolate that just to see what's selected. And while everything is selected, I'm going to give it all a UVW map. Generally, most things, except the roof, get a box UVW map. While everything is selected, I'm going to open select by name, and I'm going to type star shingles. I'll just start typing it, and you can see all my shingle layers are now the only things highlighted. So I actually just want to select these things for now, and I want to delete that map off of those because I'm going to map the roof shingles differently than everything. So you can see now I have my shingle selected. I'm going to isolate that just to see it. And that's the first thing. While these are all selected, I'm going to put a material on. So I'm going to go ahead and open my material editor, and I'm going to go to my library here, which I have a shingle material set up. So I'm going to drag that into my drawing, maximize the ball, close the unused nodes, and this material is coming from kind of a tileable bitmap image of a roof shingle that is, again, as I have this, I'm looking at the size, it's set up to be 7'4" square. So I want to put these on the roof. So while these are all highlighted, I'm actually going to select that material and assign to selection. Now they all have a shingle material on there, but the mapping is very wonky. So what I'm going to do is go back into my working viewport, and I'm going to go into my top view here. And if I isolate it, it will kind of zoom to all my shingles, which might be a good way to work. So the first thing I want to do is on my south-facing shingles, again, all these shingles are on different layers depending on the direction they're facing. But for now, I'm going to go into my south-facing shingles and give them a UVW map that's planar. Now this is mapping the material straight down. What I'd like to do is turn on my angle snap toggle, click my UVW map. Now it's not highlighted, which is kind of reverse the way you'd think. It means I'm in that UVW map. So what I'm going to do is go to my rotate, and I'm going to rotate them forward 30 degrees. That's just something I found that works for most roof pitches because it's sort of right in the middle. So now those shingles are mapped more realistic size-wise, not projected straight down, but projected at that 30-degree angle on the roof. If I click this map again, it takes me out of the map, so I'm not, anything I do would affect that direction. So I want to be out of there. And I'm actually going to right-click this UVW map and copy it. I'll go to my east-facing shingles and paste it. Not as an instance, because you don't want to change the original. I'm just going to paste it. Now you can see they're not going the right direction, so I want to go ahead and rotate the mapping. So I'm going to click that UVW map. Now I'm going to click this outer circle and rotate around until my display at the bottom reads 90 degrees, or visually I can see that they're lined up. I want to click out of there and I'll do the same thing on my west facing shingles. Paste, go into my map. If I don't go into my map, I'm going to start to rotate. Whoops, I rotated the shingles. So I want to make sure to click in here and turn those 90 degrees. Click it again. Same thing for the back of the house. Paste. Now you can see since they're projected, tilted forward, they're wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and go into here and rotate these 180 degrees. Now you can see I also have my ridges on their own layer. I like to do that. I give them a new UVW map, and I just leave it the way it is, so it's not tilted down 30 degrees. Now I can actually take that one and copy it, hit my top ridge, paste it, go into my map, and rotate those 90. And the shingles are done. I can hit my isolate to get the rest of my house back. Now in general, I just kind of work from the top down to put the right materials on things, because everything is a box map. My trim is probably going to be white, so I'm going to go into my material editor, sort everything, and I'm going to drag in, I have a multi-material here in my material library with a white and a black trim. I can kind of make any color from these. I just like to have these ready to go. I'm going to sort everything, go find it, and while that roof is selected, I can say, I can click my material and assign it to selection. You can see my roofs are white. I can go in here and I want to select everything that's white and put this material on it. So maybe I'll go into my select from scene. I know that all my windows are white. These three trim objects are all going to be white. Let's see how much that does for now. I'm going to assign that to the selection. And you can see mostly everything is white that needs to be. What's the next thing I can do is I click this wall layer. I think that this gets a vertical siding. Let's see, let's isolate that. So there's two different wall layers. There's my wall, and then there's wall hor, which I'm assuming horizontal siding. So I'll go ahead and click my wall, which is going to be my vertical siding. Open my material editor. Again, typically I have this on the second screen, but I'm going to sort everything out. Now I've got a siding material, which again is a multi-material, and I use this to group it all together. I'm going to minimize all my unused nodes. I'm going to click this multi-material and lay out the children, which just sorts it out neatly. Again, I like to click these to make them so I can see what the material is. And I'm going to lay out the children again. Now, this material, there's a lot going on here, but they're all importing, they're all the same, coming from the same color. So what I'm going to do for now is switch that color, because I'm assuming the vertical siding is going to be white. So I'm going to bring this down very close to white, turn the saturation way down. You don't want it pure white, because that'll glow. You want it to be a little bit gray with no saturation there. I've changed all my materials to white. For now, I'm going to take the this vertical siding. My walls are selected. I'm going to assign it to the selection. It's asking me, I must have had another material in this drawing at one point, so I'm going to say go ahead and replace it. And take a look at that. Now, is it displaying right? No. But if I do a preview, it is white. That has to do with, right now it's this material is being shown as realistic. You can tell by the little red and blue up here. I'm going to actually turn that off. Now again, it's showing my, strangely, it's showing me white horizontal lines. I don't know why that's the case. It shouldn't be. So what I'm actually going to do is click the color and show on my vertical siding. Where is my vertical siding? Here we go. So now it's just displaying a white color there. I also know that, well, just for fun, I'll make the gutters black. So I'm going to go back into my materials, go find my black trim, which is down here. And what I'm going to do this time is drag this right onto a gutter, because I know they're all on one layer. Again, it's displaying it as white for some reason, but if I do a preview, I can see they're black. I'm going to go ahead. Sometimes you just have to rejigger the, and now it shows as black. I don't know why. It's just a 3D Studio glitch. What else can I do? Let's say I want to do the horizontal siding there. I'm going to zoom back to my siding, find the siding I want. I've got a couple. I've got a Dutch lap, a beaded, a wood lap. We'll use the wood material on this one. So again, I'm going to take that and just drag it onto the wall and do a quick preview. Now, for whatever reason, my mapping is the wrong way, and this is strange, but there's a way to fix that. What must have happened is my UVW map is a box, but somehow that box has been oriented left to right. This can happen if you create your geometry differently in AutoCAD. You know, it's showing on the preview is going vertical, so it should. But what I'm going to do is assume that the UVW map, for whatever reason, is rotated. So I'm going to click this guy here and rotate it. Now, it's hard to see, except at the bottom of the screen, I've changed it to -90. Now let's do a preview and see if that... So you can see now my vertical lines are going the way they should be. Looks like I could use some glass on the windows as my next thing. Let's see, the horizontal siding is... Something is screwed up with this UVW map. Let me pause for a second and figure out what the problem is. But I can tell that this siding is getting mapped upside down or something. It shouldn't look like that. So I'm going to pause it here 1 second and try to figure out the issue. Okay, it took a minute to figure that out. That doesn't usually happen, but what's occurring, and I've turned the materials so that it's displaying the gradients in my siding. This is opposite. I did map, the box map came in upside down for whatever reason. The dark areas are the areas that are pushed back, so you can see it's absolutely wrong for siding. The siding's is upside down. So what I'm going to do is select this wall, select the UVW map, and do a rotate. And again, I want to rotate on my constraints, and as I rotate this around 180 degrees, and there we go, 180 degrees. Now you can see my darker areas are going up. This would be a good time if you want to adjust your map, put your siding somewhere you can move it up and down and do all kinds of stuff with it. But for now, that's good to me. And that should have fixed the problem. Now again, I'm displaying my gradients and my bump maps, but when I render it, it should render the finished material. Let's go ahead and maybe finish materials in another video here. There's only a few more to put on for now. And then we can move into, I guess, putting trees and things like that in there.